Nathan. This is the At Odd Show. Please listen.
Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
No, Nixon was not a crook.
Nor am I.
Proven, and you're also not a crook. President Barack Hussein Obama
Is a crook.
Crook.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a liar.
Liar. Oh,
Deceitful.
he's more of a liar
dishonest,
than he is a crook.
Racist.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Probably definitely one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. For sure. For being the great...
And a known
The
thespian.
great unifier? Known lesbian or known to have...
Known thespian.
Oh, okay. I was going to say known to have a membership to a gay bar in the Chicago area.
Well, there's rumors of that, too.
Yeah. No, but look, for being the great unifier, the Messiah, you know, the one that was chosen, he was going to bring this country together, right, and just eliminate that racial divide. And I'm not sure that he's done that.
No, he's widening it like Moses in the Red Sea.
Yep. Yeah, except with very bad intentions.
Well, I don't know that Moses was so good. He killed a lot of Egyptians. They're fine people, the Egyptians.
Yeah. They're killing themselves now.
Yeah, not so good now.
That's an interesting situation. Hey, did you hear that we are actually delaying our plans to send F-16s to Egypt?
Yeah, I heard that.
So that's good. Delayed wasn't the word I would have used. I would have stopped them. But what are you going to do?
You're not the president.
No, I am not the president. Not yet.
Well, if you haven't figured it out, you guys are listening to At Odds with Nate and Brian, and I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
And we're in the back room of the Chapter 9 bar and studio in a large city. In what country, Nate?
Well, we're actually in the state of Michigan in the United States of America today.
Just outside of Detroit. That's how you say it in French.
What?
Detroit.
Is that what they're going to change the name to when we sell it to Canada?
The Big D.
The Big D.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you see Anthony Weiner's at it again.
Oh, jeez, what a segue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there isn't a better segue, is there?
Oh, no, there wasn't. That was beautiful.
Anthony Weiner, who previously stepped down his position
for showing his wiener
as a representative, for showing his wiener on Twitter and sexting and phone sex and all these other things.
What was his...
He's at it again.
Carlos Danger?
Carlos Danger, yeah.
It's a great porn name.
No, it's a good one, and that's what he was going for, I think. But, he's...
They have teachers? No, they don't. Well, they might have teachers. They have T-shirts now saying, Carlos Danger, for mayor of New York or something like that. So
yeah, he is running for mayor of New York now, following up the great Bloomberg, which would be his heck of a combo.
His wife just has to have a sore forehead from just all the palm slaps, on the. Oh my God! Oh my God! He's doing it again.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, they did a joint press conference together he said, "Oh, well, I told you that more would be coming out. I told you," and he said, "Some of them aren't true, but I'm not going to get into talking about which ones aren't true. I just so there's reasonable doubt.
Sure.
Some of them aren't true."
Well, I suspect not everything.
Huma Abedin, right? That's his wife's name. She says, "Well, yeah, we talked it out, and I decided to stay with him because, well, what she's thinking is because it's a great political move for me because, well, it worked for my good friend Hillary Clinton." I mean, where did she get her power? It was for sticking with her man
lady.
that just completely humiliated her.
Yeah. Well,
And
you know,
Huma, she might have the same aspirations as Hillary, and Hillary is going to be our next president.
There's something to be said about sticking together as a couple and saving the sanctity of marriage and all that. I mean,
is there?
Yeah.
I mean, there is in most circumstances.
They have to decide whether they want to stay together.
And it's 100% up to them.
Right.
That nobody else is business. Nobody else needs to be involved in it, except when you're in the public eye, you're running for mayor, and that actually does reflect on your character. Not her, but Mr. Weiner.
Yeah, I'm just talking about whether she leaves him or not. That's her decision.
Nobody's business. Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's their choice. They worked it out. That's fine. But, man, the women I know probably wouldn't put up with that for very long.
Both of them?
Yeah. Right.
That would be 2 for our Spanish-speaking friends.
I don't know that if you say something in Spanish, you have to translate it for the Spanish-speaking friends.
I think I do.
Okay.
Because the accent is different.
It's true, a different dialect.
Yeah,
it was
they may not have
Portuguese,
understood.
actually. Don't forget, we're live right now, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are live. Otherwise, we're rebroadcast on Red State Talk Radio.
You can call in.
You can call in 248-455-ODDS. 248-455-6337 or Skype us at Odd Show. You can do that as well if you don't want to call in.
Can they?
They can.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Snowden may be granted papers to leave the airport. What's that Robin Williams movie where he's stuck in the airport?
Yeah, it's not Robin Williams as much as Tom Hanks. You talking about Terminal?
No, it was
Tom Hanks, and he's stuck in the airport. He's from... His country doesn't exist. It's like Uzbekistan or something, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I thought it was Robin Williams.
Yeah, no. I know you thought that, but you're wrong.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Huh. Robin Williams can't do accents. Not like Tom Hanks.
Robin Williams does it great.
I mean, come on.
Uzbekistan accent.
Deuce.
Yeah, that's what Snowden is, a man without a country. Yeah, Putin said, you must stop with these anti-U.S. activities. But I don't know that he has any anti-U.S. activities.
I didn't know that Putin was Austrian.
That's not Austrian. That's a good, strong Russian accent.
Well, that is.
What I did before was more Austrian.
I'm pretty sure it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No.
Into the chopper!
It's not a tumor. Putin says, now, you got to stop playing bad with the U.S. because I'm trying to get in good with them. And his people are saying, stand up to the U.S.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't be a wimp. I was going to say something else. Don't be a wimp. You stand up to the Americans. We do what we want. We're a strong Russian country. Putin's going, I might want to run for dictator of the US.
Of the world.
Yeah.
Although it seems like if he is wanting to run for dictator of the world, he would do everything he could to discredit Obama because that's going to be his opponent.
Or he wants to know how to spy on everybody, so he wants Snowden in his camp.
Yeah, when he says stop releasing all this stuff, he means stop releasing it to people who aren't me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that Snowden necessarily came out with anti-U.S. activity. I mean, I think he was letting people know that, hey, you're being spied on.
Well, he saw something and he said something, and it seems like this administration, the most transparent administration in U.S. history, said, if you see something, say something. And they were referring to government misconduct. And you know what? Snowden saw something.
No, I don't. I think
and
they
he
were,
said
no,
something.
No, I think they were talking about terrorists.
Yeah, it's what's the difference?
I don't know anymore.
There's
what's so
not.
sad.
There's not a difference.
I don't know.
They pretend like they're trying to stop terrorists, but we know that's not really the goal.
Well, as far as I know, the latest is that Snowden is still in the airport. He hasn't been released and able to go and take a shower and do whatever he has to do.
Oh, he did get a change of clothes. First time in 2 months.
And a book or something.
I don't know that it was 2 months. It had to be less than 2 months.
No,
a couple weeks.
No, it's almost a month.
Yeah. Because a couple weeks isn't almost
He hasn't been able to use the bathroom. and he's got to go.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
I bet. And they gave him all the free water he could handle, which is just ironic.
I don't know that it was ironic. It might have been
Facetious?
It could be facetious.
Yeah, I think so. No. I mean, it's
sarcastic.
It's a bit more unique than what the United States would have done.
Don't go with it. There are no gradations of uniqueness. You either are unique or you are not.
Words do mean things, don't they?
Yes, they do. That's like you couldn't be more wrong.
We are sitting here in the Chapter 9 bar and studio in the outskirts of Detroit, Michigan, which filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, let's get right into it. What did Ed Schultz say? He's a brilliant man.
Yeah, well, basically,
he has a TV
what
show.
his point was the opposite of reality,
right.
saying Detroit is failing because it has become a conservative utopia.
There isn't a conservative... I shouldn't say that. There are conservative people in Detroit. I know some. But as far as the politics go and the power, no.
It hasn't been ran by Republicans since like the 57 or something, and they haven't had a Republican mayor since 62.
Conservatives generally believe in they used to, in a smaller government. I don't know if that's so much true anymore.
It is still true for true conservatives, if you're going to put a label on people.
But I don't know that the Republican Party necessarily is that
the
way
Republican Party isn't conservative.
Yeah. Detroit's had Democratic mayor since 1962. It would be the model city for big government. Detroit has a utility tax, the only one in the country. Its income tax is the third highest of any city in America. Only Philadelphia and Louisville take more in taxes, and they're doing well, he said sarcastically. And we've had the big bailouts for the auto industry. That didn't help.
It didn't, because Obama campaigned on saving Detroit.
I know. He did save it. And he probably will bail it out again. That's the sad part.
Mitt Romney wanted Detroit to go bankrupt,
Here's part of the problem. In 2011, Detroit had twice as many municipal employees per capita as any other city with a comparable population. That's what per capita means. So it's redundant. Twice as many municipal employees. Did you know that the city water and sewer department had a horseshoer? They had a guy who was making a salary and a living with benefits and a pension who was classified as a horseshoer. Detroit doesn't have any horses. At least the city and
right, but if they get a
horse,
horse, they'll be prepared.
He's there.
Yeah, they'll be prepared. I mean, I can understand that.
Now, the sheriff's department used to have horses, but I think they even got rid of their
What
posse.
good city doesn't have a horseshoer?
Well, I don't know. I don't know why. Well, I'm not even going to get into that. 1950, there were approximately 300,000 jobs in the industrial field.
Yep.
And today, there's less than 27,000.
So that was in the 50s, and then we talk about the last time a Republican was in power there.
Well, 62
it's
been
time.
The mayor.
The
mayor. The other thing is unemployment costs and workmen's compensation has killed big business in Detroit. I read an article where a guy was paying, way more for his employees that were unemployed and on workman's comp than he actually had working for him. And he said, I can't take this anymore. And he got out. The other thing is the EPA in the 80s, and I can contest to that. Their regulations were so tough that they basically, Detroit is full of Superfund sites, and you can't do anything with the land because it's contaminated. Now, that's slowly changing a little bit in Michigan, and they have brownfield redevelopment, so they're trying to redevelop some of the land. But my understanding is that a lot of the council people in Detroit don't want to sell any of their vacant lots for anything. That's silly.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, well, we can...
The real problem is, with the Democrat control that Detroit has had, and the 47 unions that are in Detroit, I think the number is around 47. That's the real problem. The people who cause the issues in Detroit, who cause the bankruptcy, who cause a lot of the debt because of these unmanageable pensions, are the ones now suing the city, saying, well, you can't file bankruptcy on my pension because I'm a member of a public union. You promised this to me.
Well, I don't want to lose my pension. I mean,
Of course you don't want to lose your pension.
I don't
But
think
that is the
necessarily it's fair.
reason.
There's a contract. But,
That is the no, I understand that. It shouldn't. The damage is done. That's the problem. The
but they
contract
can
is
still
already
declare
signed.
bankruptcy and still preserve at least a portion of the pensions.
Can they? Can they afford it? How much money do
I
they
think so.
have? They have none.
They don't have anything.
They have like negative
let's-
$18 billion.
Yeah, $18 billion estimated debt obligation, $11.9 billion in cities' unsecured obligations to lenders and retirees. Now, I did hear that the city manager or the emergency manager did say that they have people owe them a lot of money too. There's a lot of what do you call it in accounting? Debts, accounts payable. Accounts payable. They have a lot of accounts payable where people owe them money, but it's certainly not nearly enough. Let's see. 38 cents of every tax dollar that the city collect goes to service legacy debt and other obligations rather than providing services today. 115 million is Detroit's negative cash flow. 8% interest accrued on Detroit's deferred payment of pension fund contributions. That's a big problem. 100,000 estimated creditors. 22% reduction in city employees since 2010. That's a start. Let's see. Oh, population. 1952, it was almost 2 million people, and now I think it's less than 700,000. That's quite a big.
Yeah, I think less than 700,000. You're right. People are moving. I mean, why wouldn't you move out of a city like this? There's a model that I saw that actually explains this sort of thing where you have a city and it gets dense and overcrowded and people slowly move out, and then you start to see the city rot from the inside and out, and then eventually people move back.
Regentrify.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe that'll happen. I mean, look at Hiroshima.
I think
that's
it can
extreme, but Hiroshima is booming right now.
Right.
And they had a complete reset. I don't think we should nuke Detroit. That would be a bad idea. I live a little too close to it.
Well, it's a beautiful location. I mean, it's on the river. They could do a lot on the riverfront. They could take and build a lot of canals and make it like Cape Coral, Florida. They could have these beautiful canals coming into Lake St. Clair in the river, and build beautiful homes along there and have marinas and boating and all kinds of stuff. From that point, you can get just about anywhere in the Great Lakes and even out into the ocean. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential there. Skyline can be pretty. View of beautiful downtown Windsor, Canada. 80% of Detroit manufacturing was lost between 1972 and 2007. Retail establishments down 78% since 1972. Let's see, 9.4% jobless rate. 30% decline in Detroit's municipal income tax. 36% of Detroit's population lives below the poverty level. I also heard that almost half of the Detroit population is illiterate, cannot read at a functional level. 54% of Detroiters own a home. Let's see. 16% of Michigan's population lives below the poverty level, and so they're double that. Ooh. 1.6 billion decline in city assessed property values. Well, I've worked in Detroit in the last few years, and it's really like a war zone. You just go down some of those old neighborhoods,
sure.
and these beautiful, beautiful homes are just falling in on themselves.
You can't tell which ones people live in. Some of them are just burned.
It's just a shame.
Just burned out, which, I mean, if no one's there, that might be the best thing for them.
Yeah, it was funny. It was kind of reassuring and sad. I was down there working on a site, and you drive one block, and it would be all these burned out businesses on one of the main drags.
Yeah.
And then you hit the next spot, and it's all built up. It looks like it's brand new. I mean, there's Walgreens drugstores and supermarkets and a few things built up for a block or two, and then you hit the next block, and it's burned out buildings and ghetto and terrible. And then you go a block or two, and it's like these little patches where they're starting to try to come back, but I don't see it. 40% of their city streetlights don't work. Try to get a cop in Detroit.
Who needs? Well, if you have a couple hours, maybe you can get one.
Like 8 hours on non-emergencies.
Yeah.
Some people were waiting a couple of days. Their house was broken into. It's just if there's not shot fires fired and you're not bleeding on the street, they don't show up.
Even then it's slow.
78,000 abandoned structures in Detroit. That's 20% of their city housing stock. 210 city parks were closed in 2009.
I do want to point out, I just got a message from one of our listeners. You mentioned half of Detroit being illiterate.
Yeah.
They said there's no possible way that you have that many children, that half of Detroit is illiterate. So I just wanted to point that out.
Okay.
Just that we have some listeners that are catching on to the kind of things you're saying. So
I think they mean illegitimate.
They might.
I think that illegitimate.
Well, if that's what they meant, then it actually could be true.
Yeah, it's illiterate.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of adults that don't know how to read or write. And there's probably a lot of immigrants there that don't read and write English.
No, but they don't get counted. Right?
I don't know that they don't. They might.
They don't vote. We know that.
Yeah, they do.
They don't vote.
And so do their dead relatives.
I'm going to jump back to Snowden real quick. We have a break. There was a vote today, and this was brought up in a comment too. There was a vote today to defund the NSA, essentially defund part of the Patriot Act.
There was a bill.
There was a bill, and I think it was Justin Amash from Michigan.
Yeah.
And it was close, but it didn't pass.
It was fairly close.
Yeah, but we have these representatives that sometimes Mike Rogers, these sorts of people that sometimes
also from Michigan,
sometimes have decent ideas that just they vote against this sort of thing, and it's because when you listen to people like John McCain and Mike Rogers apparently, and they say, well, no, look, you have nothing to hide. There's no reason the NSA can't listen to what you're doing because you're not a terrorist. Don't worry about it.
I hate that.
The Patriot Act, it was signed by a Republican president, so why would we want to get rid of it? Because we can't admit that we were wrong 10 years ago. These are the people that you need to email, you need to call them, you need to tell them, look, you're doing the wrong thing. The American people, much like Obamacare that we can get to in a minute, the American people do not want this. We want to shut down the gigantic data center that was built to store all of our data. We don't want it. Sell it to someone. Google might buy it. That's fine.
These are the same people, these Congress people, the same one that the one thought that Guam was going to tip over because it was going to have too many people on it.
Oh, yeah.
These are people that are elected to some of the highest offices in the country, and they're idiots.
It's the same group of people that think that, South Dakota's border with Canada isn't quite as dangerous as the Mexican border.
Or don't know what the Constitution is.
They've never read it. Our president, though, taught the Constitution.
Well, did he?
Well, no, of course he didn't.
There's a lot of witnesses.
Of course
he never taught one class.
Oh, boy. All right, we do have to take a quick break. I want to remind you, Facebook, we're doing a contest right now. If you like Facebook, you have another week between now and our show next Thursday. I think we'll announce it the week after.
Like us,
I think is what we'll do.
New likes get 2 chances at the drawing. We put your name in twice. Those that were in there before the start of the contest get 1 chance at the drawing, and we give away a copy of our great, fantastic, great American novel, My Parents' Open Carry. Yeah, and I do want to say that actually drawing a name out of a hat is so 1952. That's where I'm at,
It's
buddy.
going to be all electronic, and I created a cool little name picker. And it's the most complicated piece of software I've ever seen. It has a list of names, and it picks a random one from the list.
Really?
Yeah. So
on what? But you use a hat, right?
Well, there's a picture of a hat.
Are you going to wear a hat when you do it?
I'll wear a hat.
I'll wear a hat. At least wear a hat.
So that's Facebook.com/AddOddsShow. Remember, you call in 248-455-ODDS.
Check out Nathan Nephew Show.
Yeah, you can. NathanNephew.com if you want to. And our book, MyParentsOpenCarry.com. It's a kid's book, pro-Second Amendment, obviously. Talks about open carry, the right to self-defense, things like that. It's a great conversation starter.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada. We will be right back.
Hi, you're listening to the Odd Show with Nate and Brian. And may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
Fact, U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815.
Real radio for real Americans.
Red State Talk Radio.
Obama wants your money, and he's determined to get it. He wants your money to buy off unions, his Wall Street cronies, and to expand the Obama welfare nation. Well, Swiss America is determined to stop him from stealing your money. They want to send you an award-winning film, I Want Your Money, on DVD that exposes his plan. It'll help keep the government's hands off your money using gold, silver, and other hard asset strategies to protect your hard-earned money. Call today and request the DVD, I Want Your Money, normally $19.95, yours absolutely free. Let Swiss America show you how to use gold, silver, and other hard assets to protect your hard-earned money. Call now. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call Swiss America right now. Learn all about investing in gold. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call now.
I'm Brian.
I'm Nate.
We've been talking a lot of things so far: Detroit, Snowden, Weiners, all kinds of things. We talk about a lot of stuff. Real quick, the Zimmerman trial. I hate to talk about that because it's just getting so old. But federal government is still trying to make a big federal case out of it.
I thought it was just starting. I mean, we had these piddly little state prosecutors involved. I mean, in the local police department, what do they know about prosecuting a local murder?
Ranklin, the New York Democrat.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I can't think of his name. Anyways, he's like, well, you can't trust those small-town juries, If they like somebody on the jury, they're going to let them off. That's why we got to get the feds in there. Because they're going to be unbiased, They'll be able to work it out just great. Oh, what a dink. That's the idea of state sovereignty.
You can't disagree because Eric Holder, he has done such a Fast and Furious.
Yeah, he needs the guns to ship to Mexico.
Benghazi.
The next thing we're going to do is find out that Zimmerman's gun killed
Black Panthers Party?
Killed a mayor in Mexico, from some drug cartel.
You think he hasn't shipped it there already?
I don't know.
I'm sure he has.
But anyways, they seized all the evidence. They can't let it go. They got it. If they try him, even the ACLU, whatever they are, right? American Civil Liberties Union, yeah. They've come out and said, enough is enough. This is just becoming too racist.
They're virtually anti-gun.
Right. This is over and done with. He's been found not guilty in a legitimate trial in the state of Florida.
This is a fine point, but I guess to me it's not that fine.
And there was
no
racism
You mentioned
involved.
that the federal government seized the evidence. That's half of the story.
Okay.
The local government, the state government, handed over the evidence.
Well, whatever. I guess there's a difference.
Look, the power should be with the state, with the local government more so even than the state. We need to have sheriffs and things, and the sheriffs weren't directly involved with this transaction, but someone has to stand up, and it shouldn't be the ACLU.
No, it should be the state and the county. He was tried in the county.
It should be Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, the people who have all this control. and power over people. They need to stand up and say, yeah, you know what? This really wasn't about race. There's obviously not a civil rights violation here.
Did you know George Zimmerman took a black woman to his high school prom? Do you know that his business partner was a black man?
Did you know he grew up with black children? He mentored black children?
Yeah.
He was the only one in the city that stood up for a homeless black man that was beaten by a police officer's son.
In Sanford. In the town.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a horrible racist.
Yeah.
It's just,
Jeez.
it's just.
Let's not even talk about how white he is.
Yeah.
Which is not as white as you would think if you watched MSNBC.
He's as white as Obama.
Who, by the way, most of them are white, so...
I'm sick
I
of that.
want to be done with the Zimmerman thing, but
Yeah.
the guy saved some people. He helped out on a car wreck
Recently, yeah.
after the verdict.
Right.
The people that he helped are afraid to talk because of death threats.
Right.
What the hell?
Their car turned over and he helped get them out from under their tractor.
You know they were white.
Yeah, I know. But, he's not a racist.
I mean, 10 minutes after it happened, we see messages, oh, it was obviously staged. Obviously staged because nobody got hurt. So it couldn't have been a real accident.
Yeah, because nobody flips their car and does not get hurt.
No one got hurt and they were white.
Happens all
so
the
it was
time.
Staged.
I've seen it happen.
If he had staged it, don't you think he would have saved a black family out of the car? Or is he just not that smart?
I think he should have saved. There should have been like a black
Somebody of
person,
every
an
race?
Asian. Yeah, every ethnicity should have been in the car. It was the Rainbow Coalition, not Jesse Jackson's. Obamacare, repeal it? Yes. Enough said.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know why this is in your...
Well, you had Brian drinks pee, too, and that's not right. Not anymore.
Look at that cup. Honestly, look at what you're drinking right now.
Mountain Dew
and
does
it's
look
warm
like urine.
because there's no ice. And don't...
It does look like urine.
Well, the rum makes it look even worse.
European sweet pea. I like that one.
Oh, boy.
All right. I think this is Chicago. They looked at some kind of study that says that citywide social networks of violence includes more than 16,000 people. They find that most of the violence takes place in a small percentage of population of a larger subset, which makes sense, right? So what they did is they put together the highest, which was 16,000 people in Chicago, the highest likelihood that they will be killed or commit a crime. And they went door to door and they picked out 400 of those, of the hottest people, the most likely to commit shootings or become victims. And it was 20 people per police district, and they've sent letters saying, we're on to you, we're watching you. If you don't straighten out your act, you'll end up shooting somebody or being killed by somebody. We're on you, we're the thought police. We know that you will commit a crime.
It's like Minority Report.
And so now they are actually putting little letters and going door to door saying, please don't kill people and please be careful that you might be shot. Fascinating police work.
Do you know how many lives it'll save? Probably
16,000.
No, 400, I mean, because they didn't care about the rest of them. Lives will be saved. Anytime you have police involvement, government involvement, you have less murder. I mean, Chicago's the best example of that with their gun laws. I mean, there's not violence in Chicago. We don't hear about it.
The police chief says, we know who you are, we know what you do, and your chances of dying in a homicide is much greater than John Q. Citizen.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently they're not citizens.
Well, they are, but their name's not John.
No.
I don't know. I don't understand this. It really doesn't make sense to me. But the thing is, you don't hear about crime in Chicago. You hear about crime in Sanford, Florida, when they think it's race-related.
Hate crimes.
Falsified hate crimes. You don't hear about the 20 people that die every minute in Chicago. That's not accurate at all. But it's more than are murdered in Sanford, Florida.
Oh, yeah, by quite a bit.
Which... Yeah. That's why you hear about it. It's sad, though. I mean, I think if you talked about every death in Chicago, maybe it would be more important to people. People would realize it and say, hey, maybe gun control's not working there. Maybe, maybe if you let the good people carry firearms, maybe there would be less random murders and things.
We shall see. Illinois just passed their concealed carry bill. You know who I just talked to?
I mean, yeah, but look how onerous it is.
Do you know who I talked to? Yeah, it's expensive.
especially for out of state.
$300.
Yeah.
Did you know that I talked to the Illinois State Police today?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they wanted to ask me some questions about something, but anyways, no, that's not true.
It wasn't about Miss Tolls, was it?
It wasn't about tolls.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Apparently, there was this Cub Scout group and missing, and
yeah.
no, I'm kidding, of course. It was Girl Scouts. Anyways, I called their firearms section because a question came up: can out-of-state people with concealed pistol licenses carry in Illinois now? Now, I was under and I was wrong, they can, but I was under the impression that the law wasn't being enacted yet. But what it was is the state was giving the state police, I don't know, like 90 days or something to get up to speed to start processing concealed pistol applications. But right now, if you have a concealed pistol license from your home state, you can carry it in your vehicle only. And
loaded?
Loaded, yes.
Okay. Concealed? Real concealed?
Concealed in your car.
Not like Michigan concealed.
No, you can carry it wherever in your car, loaded. If you leave your car, you have to leave the gun in your car, in your locked vehicle, or in a locked case in your vehicle. It could still be loaded if you're not in there. You just can't walk around with it, which is still better than nothing. So I said, she was a real kind of a smart ass. I asked the question. I'm from out of state, I'm from Michigan. I'm wondering, can I carry my gun now? Oh yeah, I should carry it in your car only. I said, even in Chicago? She goes, that's Illinois, isn't it? I went, yeah, I guess.
Did you
right.
say do you have state preemption on firearm laws then?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, did they?
They didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, are you supposed to know that?
No, but she was being a smartass. It's Illinois, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not like, oh yeah, you can carry even in Illinois.
Is it?
She was real snarky.
FIP, is that the
what?
FIP, is that the
FOID? FOID. Firearm Owner's Identification.
FIP is the term for
what?
For Illinois people. It's derogatory. But
we have listeners in Illinois. It'd be nice.
I know there's one listening right now. Even
I don't believe that's true. Since we only have one half person listening now. So that's good. I mean, I never wanted to go to Chicago because I couldn't carry my firearm there. At least now I can carry it in my car.
One of our listeners who apparently doesn't want to call in, rather just chat with us,
which
is fine. Perfectly. In fact, if you are listening on the website, you can click on the little chat button and send us chat messages. It's pretty convenient. But he asked, and I think this will be good out for the Michigan listeners anyway, if you have a medical marijuana card, which is now legal in Michigan, he was told that you cannot get a concealed pistol license.
Technically, that's true.
So, first of all, medical marijuana cards are as bad as concealed pistol licenses. That it's something you shouldn't need, because what the hell good does a card do you?
Well, it's funny because our next topic is the war on drugs must stop.
Yeah, right. So, and it's a good segue. And I guess if you just call out the next topic, it's not so much of a segue anymore. But
I see. So when I say it's a segue, it's not a segue anymore.
It's a much worse segue.
I see.
Yeah,
it's more worse.
Not quite as unique.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. Throat punch. If you have a medical marijuana, there's actually a question on there. Are you a drug user or something? And if you are, you can't technically you can't even possess firearms. It's a federal thing. If you have those, you would give up your right to possess firearms and a concealed pistol.
Yeah, and to answer the second part of the question, I completely disagree with that. I don't think you should be carrying a firearm under the influence of anything other than life.
But you shouldn't lose your right to a firearm while you're using a medical drug.
You shouldn't have to have a privilege to own anything that's other. I mean,
well, wait a minute now.
You shouldn't need a concealed pistol license because you should be able to have a gun.
I understand
and you
that.
shouldn't have
I understand
any
your point
qualifications for it.
Right, and nor for marijuana.
Same thing with marijuana.
Okay, what about all controlled substances like opiates and narcotics that you get prescriptions for, or amphetamines and antibiotics? And
sure. I mean, none of these laws are doing any good. Making drugs illegal isn't doing any good. In fact, I think it's doing much more harm.
I would agree. I mean, we could spend a whole show. We could spend decades talking about the war on drug and how it's failed miserably and how it's contributed to the police state, and it's a big cash cow now for local police departments. They get thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in funding to enforce these laws, and they ruin people's lives. And the prisons make money, and the people that supply the prisons make money. It's follow the money.
Yeah, I mean, if you go
marijuana should be legal.
If you go back and listen to our old shows, we had a former drug enforcement officer, Merle Temple, on. He actually started, I think, when the war on drugs under Nixon. He was way back then. He was in the FBI, got assigned to the drug, whatever it was called at the time. He said it was nothing like it is now. Yep. Absolutely not. He was a drug enforcement officer, and he thinks that what we have today is just
is a police state.
Yeah,
he did. He said the stuff they're doing now we would have never done 30 years ago.
People getting mandatory prison sentences for having a little bit of weed,
no-knock warrants, and
yeah, absolutely
just that stuff, and confiscating people's money. Did you hear about the woman that had she was a stripper, and she got pulled over, and she had $1 million in cash in her car. It was her life savings. She'd been stripping for 15 years. Pretty good business. She must have been really good. And the cops took her money saying, it must have been drug money. It had to be because nobody has $1 million in cash. And she just got it back. I mean, she had to fight for it, but they took her money. You can't have cash anymore. And another guy spent money, like $20,000 in cash and bought stuff, and they had to go check him out because nobody has that kind of cash anymore.
Absolutely not.
That's drug money. Well, let's see I got some statistics here. I know you hate those. Over the last 2 decades, marijuana possession arrests have soared by 193%. 784,000 in 2010. They now account for nearly half of all drug arrests in the country. New York and Texas top the nation in arrest. 97% are for simple possession. Not for dealers,
New York,
not
we have
for growers.
We have stop and frisk. So that's doing a lot of good in New York. Look, hey, if you have nothing to hide, there's no reason a police officer can't stop you because
they can feel
of the color of your
skin.
Your
crotch. Yeah.
You talk about racism. Yeah. Look at the number of blacks that are stopped and frisked in New York. Look at the police officers that are told to profile in New York with these great liberal policies of stop and frisk. I mean, if you want to talk about the race problem and the police state and how they correlate, look at New York and look at their stop and frisk laws. It's not doing any good. All it's doing is stripping liberty from people who should be allowed to walk out of their high-risk apartment building and not be harassed by the police.
Right, by the man. How much do you think the cost of marijuana possession enforcement was in 2010?
$400 or $500
per person. No, it was $3.6 billion, Nathan.
Money well spent.
$40 per capita per person. Marijuana consumption has remained stable in the last decade, and there's no meaningful disparity in the rates that black and white Americans smoke pot. It's equal. So those are some statistics. I know you're a big pot smoker. I mean, you smoke pot all the time, and
like right now.
Right now, you're smoking.
Yeah.
I can't even breathe in here. It's like in here with Johnny Fever from WKRP.
No, I farted. That's why you can't breathe.
Oh, no fart jokes. Yeah, I wondered why your marijuana smelled like pizza. I don't get that. The dog didn't get into the pizza
hasn't gotten into the pizza yet. That's good.
All right, fake checkpoints. All right, there's one straight. Oh, well, the U.S. in 2000, the Supreme Court ruled that random vehicle checkpoints aimed at finding illegal drugs violates the Fourth Amendment.
Just to clear it up, I don't smoke pot at all.
I know. I was just teasing you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're an alcoholic.
Because now it's on the internet forever.
Yeah.
Well, and you know,
but nobody hears
it. Accusations are as good as convictions.
Very much so.
So
yeah.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. You're not. You can call me a pot smoker. I don't care.
But I won't do that.
Because you love me?
I don't like to tell the truth.
Yeah, then lie. You don't smoke pot.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, Fourth Amendment ban on unreasonable searches and seizures.
Take a quick phone call.
Oh, no.
Thanks for calling Ad Odds. You're on the air. What's on your mind?
Well, called about the war on drugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the war on drugs, I'm old enough to remember as a small child when it was started, and it's for a long time been a war on freedom and a war on African Americans. They take the brunt of it, but it's it's morphed into a way for police officers to basically completely eradicate the Fourth Amendment, because you can always say, I smell pot.
Right.
And do any kind of a search you want.
Or the dog that gives a false positive.
That dog will jump at anything that guy taps if it really wants to. I've gone through some checkpoints in states that have them, and there's not a lot of friendly attitude there. And in the last few years, they've gone to regular police uniforms, but for a while there, they were walking around with M4s and all the black goons,
the SWAT teams.
Yeah, definitely high on the intimidation factor there.
Well, but
it's turning the police into an army of occupation instead of the serve and protect organization that I think most of us want.
Right. Yeah, I think there's no question that the police from the 70s have increased leaps and bounds into a military organization. I just saw a recruitment poster for the FBI, and it says, "Do you want to be an FBI?" And it showed a bunch of guys in SWAT uniforms climbing down some wall or something. That's the FBI.
What the FBI does every day.
They're projecting now. I mean, good Lord,
it's nuts. Well, hey, thank you for your call.
Thanks for the show and good luck.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Let's see. What did they rule? Okay, it says the court said, we decline to suspend the usual requirement of individualized suspicion where the police seek to employ a checkpoint primary for the ordinary enterprise of investigating crimes. It's suspicious list. That's what they're saying. We cannot sanction stops justified only by the generalized, ever-present possibility that interrogation and inspection may reveal that any given motorist has committed some crime. So how they're getting around that is they're doing fake checkpoints. And this is going to be challenged, too. This one city, I think in Ohio, they put up checkpoint signs. What?
Let's take a quick break. We'll get back, talk about the fake checkpoints.
Okay. Fine.
Facebook.com/@oddshow, 248-455-ODDS. We will be right back.
Say, would you all like to listen to the Odd Show with Nate and Brian? And then come on down in my basement and have a popsicle.
Red State Talk Radio.
The idea of government taking over healthcare is enough to make you sick.
The conservative voice.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. That's 1-800-257-2873.
When it comes to TV, if you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best value in entertainment. Not only will you find the same channels you know and love for less, Dish sweetens the deal with free HD for life and premium movie channels free for 3 months, including Blockbuster at home. You can also save a bundle when you combine DishNet high-speed internet with your TV service. Why would you ever pay more for TV? Switch to Dish and see what real value is. Free HD for life, premium channels free for 3 months, scores of movies with Blockbuster at home, premium savings when you bundle DishNet high-speed internet service. Limited time offer, 24-month agreement with credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. Call for details.
Call Dish Satellite, your Dish authorized retailer now. 800-507-9468. 800-507-9468. 800-507-9468. That's 800-507-9468.
Red State Talk Radio.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. That's 800-610-3497. Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
And we're back. You're listening to At Odds. I'm Brian.
And I'm Brian.
And I'm Brian. Who are you?
Brian. I'm Nate.
That's silence. So fake checkpoints. Okay, this is what they're doing. What they do is they put up these fake checkpoints, right? And then anybody that suspiciously stops and turns around,
fake,
because they're illegal, they're unconstitutional.
That's what fake means?
Yeah, they're not real checkpoints.
Okay.
They're not really stopping cars. They just have the signs up there saying checkpoint ahead. And anybody that turns around, then that's probable cause to pull them over.
Truth in advertising, man.
Said 3 drivers called attention to themselves by making U-turns. The 4th was Bill Peters, who pulled over because he stopped on the side of the road to check his phone for directions. He didn't even see the signs, but they pulled him over and gave him a bunch of hassle. And he allowed him to search your car, which I would never do.
Look.
They also had drug detecting dogs. Of course, those are all fake.
Fake dogs?
No, the dogs are real. The signaling that there's drugs is fake.
I don't believe that.
And the courts have upheld so far that they're fine. There's no standardized training. There's no kind of testing certification or anything with the cops.
I don't buy that the dogs are wrong as often as people think. I buy that the police see signals that aren't there or cause the dog to signal somehow based on how it was trained. I don't think...
That's not the research that I've been reading about it.
That's fine, I know. And you've probably read the good research on Ron Paul's blog.
Probably read a lot more than you about it.
I doubt it.
The dogs anticipate and want to please the handler, so they give a lot of fake positives. But it doesn't matter because whether it gives a positive or not doesn't matter. The fact that they have a dog and they can say, "Oh, the dog alerted."
That's my point.
And they can just violate you anyway. So
that's my point. But I mean, these things happen all over the place. I mean, on top of having my name run for being a witness to an accident.
Yeah, they need to get rid of the drug sniffing dogs on cars.
Reasonable suspicion was told to me was that I didn't roll my window down far enough, and I didn't answer questions when he asked them for the
there's
third
reasonable
time.
Suspicion, and then there's probable cause. There's 2 different levels there.
Okay, and I said reasonable suspicion, and what I meant was reasonable suspicion.
Okay.
Because that's what I said, so thanks for clearing that up.
Just for our listeners that may not know the difference.
They do.
I'm trying to be helpful.
They do. You're not.
And I do not talk too much. One of the comments was that I talk too much, so...
Not just that you talk too much, that you talk 100% too much, which I think...
Yeah, that's bad.
I mean, it was probably an approximation, but it's close to accurate.
Huh.
I think.
Okay.
So, I mean, we don't need to change anything now.
No, I'm not going to talk anymore.
Really?
Yeah, my feelings are hurt.
You're not going to talk anymore?
No, not at all.
At all?
Right after this.
After this?
Not now.
Starting now?
Nope.
I mean now.
Yep. Now.
Okay. No, that's fine. We're getting close to time here, though. I want to remind everybody about our contest on Facebook. Head over to facebook.com/@oddshow.
Like us.
Like the Facebook page.
Get into the drawing, and then, you can always drop us later.
Don't do that. Just like us and follow the show, because why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
What else do you have going on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. besides Big Bang Theory?
I'm missing Big Bang. So, I'll try not to talk as much.
All right.
But I'm going to say this. Body cavity search on side of road and back seat of patrol car. Woman cop used same glove for both women. Not very nice. She got fired. The cop did.
It happens.
It wasn't really a good... You don't pull somebody's clothes off on the side of the road and give them the old whoo-hoo.
Apparently you do, because this isn't the first case we've seen of this.
Right.
I mean, there's also the officer, I think, in Florida that was let go because he spoke out against quotas, ticketing quotas and things, because everybody knows that every police force in the United States of America is solely there for revenue collection. I mean, that's what police are for. They're there to set up speed traps and to catch people that are driving a little too fast or have a headlight out or maybe aren't wearing a seatbelt or maybe don't have a piece of paper in their car that says they can legally own the car that they paid for.
No, that's not true. They're there for our safety. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be, young man.
Luckily, they do have a legal duty to protect us.
No, they don't. Yeah, that's... That's...
Supreme Court decided that one, didn't they?
Yeah, they said they don't have to protect you.
Shoot.
It's like that guy that was fighting off that one guy that had a knife on the subway there, and the New York police cops were just standing there 5 feet away from him and let him get stabbed 6 times.
Well, I wouldn't get into that. They had guns. Why would they?
The guy that got stabbed actually apprehended the stabber, and then the police came in there and took credit for the bust.
Sure. I've had a police officer look me in the eyes and say, I will not protect you.
Right, because you were open carrying and he didn't like that.
Because I had the ability to protect myself, and he wasn't very happy with it.
Better than he did.
No, I'm sure of it. But
really?
No.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Well, I was standing and he wasn't, with his back to a window.
That's good.
So.
Well, you made it out alive, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
I did make it out alive, and he didn't even have to protect me.
I thought you were dead. Well, it got better.
All right, that's all the time we have.
Thank you for listening to
Adams,
I guess. I don't know. That's your line.
No, what?
Is that your line?
Are you drunk?
A little bit.
All right. See you next week.
All right, bye-bye.